Hello, hello. Um, Very embarrassing that I am only just now um, making the video. If you did not see the comment I put in the main All Stars chat, I'm doing this at the end of day 2, technically day 3, if you count the day of the cast reveal, which actually you should. So, the end of day 3. Um, the I almost said pit stop. For those who don't know, that was like I'm not gonna bother. It's midnight while I'm recording this. But yeah, so the Inferno Pass has already been given out. It's after the week 1 ranking, so technically I'm breaking my own rule about the draft. Um, but that really wouldn't have affected my draft regardless because it was a non-elimination week. So obviously I'm recording this late. Sorry, my cat is licking a plastic bag. I say you got you guys are not going to see this until the season is over. So, yeah, basically for those who don't know, I already have all the challenges planned out. That's why it took me so long to make this video, is I like to have all the challenges planned out so that way I can really like predict how the season is going to go, which, historically I'm pretty bad at it because this game can be so fluid, especially this season. But I'm just doing this for fun, like I want to win the draft, don't get me wrong, like I really do try to make sense of what I say, but at the end of the day, it really isn't, life or death if I get this correct. It's more just like, hey, did you want to know, how I thought you were going to do? So it was very important to me to make sure I got this done at least before the first elimination, because for Superstars 2, I forgot, or I kept putting off the video until after the first elimination, which kind of then colored how the rest of the video went, because I was like, well, shit, I was going to predict someone else the first boot. So, yeah, in past All Stars, the intention, and I think All Stars 1, 2, and 3, I don't know if I did it for 4, but I'm supposed to do this before the season even begins, usually after the preseason confessionals, but before the cast reveal. But I have been so unmotivated lately to do anything, not just, plan All Stars. Which is funny because planning challenges has always been my weak point. Excuse me, always been my weak point. Even when I did TPIs. You know what? I've probably said this in every single video. So once again, it's the challenges. If I like had someone to do the challenges for me, or at least give me ideas, then I could go from there. So I probably should just have like at least 2 or 3 people who are kind of permanent, like, okay, we're all going to brainstorm together, as opposed to, here are my ideas, I planned everything, what do you think? Also, my cat has the zoomies. Jesus God! So, if you hear him in the background, that's Sunny D, that's the welcomer bot. So, I'm just looking at the video. Okay, I knew something looked weird about the way the thing was in frame. So, um, first boot prediction. So, week 2, it is. I literally just typed this out. What the challenge was. It's Fruit Ninja, which I thought was just such a funny idea, and I haven't done it yet. Usually for All Stars, I like to take challenges from the qualifying seasons, which in this case is season 17 to Flop Stars. But because I've really run out of ideas and every season is kind of like getting the same pool of challenges, I decided I was okay coming up with some more fresh ideas for this season, or finding brand new games, because it's something different. It's not the same old shit that people can just reuse screenshots from. So, Obviously, we know Joshi has the Inferno Pass, which I actually would have predicted it was going to go to Benji or Sachi. Probably would have ended up picking Sachi. But I would have thought Benji, Sachi, Apex, or Lycan would get it. But I probably would have gone with Sachi. So, interesting that I was wrong about that. In terms of losing the first comp, my predictions before anything would have been Aisha Nicole. Predicting them last, with Triggs and Yeza placing near the bottom. And actually, my prediction would have been Aisha and Nicole get the penalty to their week 2 rankings. I don't know who it's going to go to. I think y'all are still kind of talking about that right now. As of right now, only 2 people have voted, to my knowledge, and it's a 1-to-1 tie. Do with that what you will. So in terms of the first challenge, I don't think we're going to have any more did not submits. I think that was just a one-off thing, because even Nicole submitted. And that, to me, was like, okay, cool. We're going to probably have a decent season then. So, sadly, though, I do think Nicole is going to be the first boot. Also, I'm using a new website. Because Tiermaker would not let me use my ad blocker, and at first I was just going to put up with it and let them run ads, because at the end of the day I can change the colors of the tiers, because I hate this shade of red for the final 2. You know, in hindsight, I could have just moved this to be the top, but it's too late. I don't care. So I do think Nicole was going to be the first boot. She's kind of... Oh, I kind of like how it has the file names here. But in the same time, I really don't. Oh my god! Oh my god. Sorry. But yeah, I think Nicole's gonna be first boot. I think because anyone can... Unless Apex or Light can save her, which I don't think they're gonna do. Oh, in terms of the bodyguards, that would have been totally just random, which I didn't even think about the oh my god! I didn't even think about the implications of it being 2 people, like, being nominated this week for the non-elimination. Which, if you're wondering why I even bothered with that, at first I wasn't going to. I was kind of wavering. I was like, oh, on flop stars, like, I think it did technically matter. Because I think the team that got the hit, they placed 5th out of 7th. And that season, it was the bottom 2 teams. So they would have been safe had it not been for that twist. So on one hand, I liked that. I liked that it gave everyone a couple days to get acclimated. Gave everyone 2 weeks to kind of get their track records going. And the real reason was because I wanted to throw in another Turbulence week. And I don't even remember how it came about. I think I was planning when I wanted to do the Turbulence weeks. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the standard 12 to 10, because at first I was going to do a parallel distortion, which for those who don't know is when I do like a split house twist. I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like I should. Because those are always so fun, so chaotic. Everyone hates them, which I love. I love that you all hate them. I mean, I would too, to be fair. Which I did kind of go through that when I played Maddie Viver. Which, like, our Maddie on this season, Maddie Viver. She kind of did, like, a faux, like... I mean, it was tribes. It was a survivor. So naturally, it was split. But it was a whole thing with, like... It was a whole thing. So I understand how much it sucks. Which is why I love to do it, you know? You know, I'm kind of looking at this, and I'm looking at the challenge for Final 12. And I could easily make that parallel distortion. Because it's not something where it relies on the teammate being around. Because I was going to do the Good Witch, Bad Witch thing. Which, for those who don't know, I mean, y'all are going to know by the time the video comes out, because I'll have done it at some point, where it's like you're kind of split up into two groups, and then your team's rank isn't just based on your scores, it's based on your average rank within those two groups that you were a part of. And that was my idea for it to be Rock Hoppers, which is like this grid where you do a path to get points. I mean, you'll have done that comp too. I'm not changing the comps, I barely thought of them to begin with. So it's going to be that mixed with the Good or Bad Witch challenge that I started in Season 14, combined with Reaper So, where if you and another person land on the same square, those points, I'm going to have it be where it gets split up between the two of you. I guess I really could just have it kind of be the same concept about going back to your partner, like leaving these groups and then heading off to the merge together. Because the original conceit was just like, you and your partner try to collect the most points possible, and you can work together and strategize, okay, I think you should go on this square. You know, really encourage that element of teamwork. But then I'm like, I don't know, I kind of hate all of you, so... I don't know. Well, now y'all are gonna get to see live, because it is All-Stars. So there should be like an All-Star level of gameplay. And I did it for Flop Stars, the split house. Because originally I wasn't going to do a split house for this season. Or I think that's what I was talking about. I was originally going to do a split house because duh. And then I was like, I don't know. That is so overplayed for me to do that. Like, they would expect that by now, because All-Stars 4 had it, All-Stars 3 had it, Superstars 2 kinda had it, Flop Stars had it, so then to have it be on All-Stars 5, I actually think it's less predictable for me not to do that. And kind of let the bodyguard twist be the twist of the season. Because at the end of the day, that is a huge shakeup to the format. Which is kind of why this season, I know this is going to sound crazy given what you've been going through this first week. But I would say overall, this season does feature less twists. I mean, even the Inferno Pass, I tacked that on just randomly when I finished typing everything else out. I was like, you know what, let me just add another level. Because originally, it was going to be that the person who got the individual highest score was the bodyguard for week 1. But then I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't like that though. Because the point of the bodyguard twist is to add an impactful social component to the game. Because regularly, you know, there is a social component, but you really can get far, and especially you have a free pass to the jury if you're good at the comps. With this, it completely brings the game wide open. And there's such a like a cat and mouse kind of thing about, you know, oh my god, like who do I think the bodyguard is? I have to work with them to make sure we don't nominate the same person, because if we do, then I have to do it again, and I look like an idiot, because now everyone knows I tried to nominate this person, and they're safe for the week. Which, god, I hope that happens. That would be so funny for someone like Chris. I think it'd be funny for Chris if he nominates, I don't know, let's say Apex, but then Lycan turned around and he actually guarded Apex, so that everyone sees that Chris tried to take a shot and got blocked, and he has no idea by who, but he just knows that he got publicly blocked for the nomination. I think that would be incredible television. So that is why my original plans did not include a parallel distortion split house twist, because I felt there was already such a massive twist for them to overcome, which is weird because I've put my contestants through hell and back and not felt sorry about it. But I guess, as I'm aging, and also as I'm seeing people kind of not try as hard as they used to, I'm kind of hesitant on going too far with it, even though everyone like knew what they were signing up for when they came back. Like I made it clear on all of your seasons that my all stars are no joke when it comes to the twists and what I put people through. And I think the format change with the bodyguard twist, that is absolutely no exception. I think that is a huge twist. I think for all of you, it is a totally different game. Now there's a whole layer that you really have to work on the social component. And I'm iffy as to whether I think the split house would really, I guess, benefit the game. Not in like, I think it would be unhealthy, but what does that gain for me? Like if I do a split house, does that really, I guess, does that make things better? I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna do this live. So I'm going to say that instead of the rock hoppers thing, which I actually liked all the layers I put to that, I'm gonna move that to be your week 2 challenge because I actually really liked that idea. And then I'm gonna take Flappy Bird and I'm going to move that to final 12 where it's going to be the split house. I think I'm going to go for it. Even though it is such a pain in the ass for me to set up. Like, y'all have no idea. On like a hosting level, setting up the server, it is a pain in my ass to do the split house. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, it's even more of a pain in the ass to go through it. So I think Flappy Bird on top of that, which Flappy Bird was such a, I have one challenge left, and then I saw that. I was like, fuck it. I think, I want to say it was Shane who thought that was the week 1 comp. I'm like, God, I wish. I kind of feel you all would prefer that over the Quap, which, once again, I'm so sorry, y'all. It was supposed to be an app game called Daddy Longlegs, and that one was an infinite one, and I just could not find a mobile version that worked. Because my rule of thumb is I will never ask you all to download something. As much as I want to, trust me, I would love to. That would make thinking of comps so much easier. I would have so much more room to do it. But I could not find a free version of this anywhere. I tried all the unblocked sites. I even went on some sketchy ones to see what I could find. Couldn't find anything. And I was just about to give up. I remembered Quap. I was like, well, that's kind of the same idea. Had no idea that one kind of like stopped you at 100. So it was kind of a miracle that only a few people got, the 100 plus scores. So yeah, then I saw Flappy Bird. I was like, fuck it. That's a good idea. And I can bullshit my way through how it kind of fits into the, theming of Hollywood, which I like the idea of it. Like, well, in PR, you're supposed to control your emotions, not get upset. So here's a rage game. That's totally something I would do. Like, if I was a PR manager, that is something I would do. I would make them play rage games in front of people and be like, you can't let them know you're upset. Like, you gotta really control your face. And I think going into a social challenge, it really works out thematically, even though no one cares. Like, I could literally just say, here's the comp, go do it. Like, you all would. You all wouldn't care about the theming, but it is classier because, like, what's the point then, if I'm not theming it? So I'm going to move Fruit Ninja to Team Comp 4, where Flappy Bird was originally. And then that way I still kind of get what I wanted from each of the challenges. It's just now they're in different places where, quite frankly, I don't really think they mattered all too much. So we just eliminated Nicole because I think no matter what that challenge is, she gets nominated. I don't think Apex or Lycan, especially because Apex is saying, hey, we're allowed to guard each other, Why don't we just do that? Which didn't even cross my mind that people would do that, which I don't know why. That is such an obvious play. So that just proves like I can think of things for the twists all I want, but you can never truly predict what the players are going to do with the tools you give them, which is why I prefer when the twists are, I don't want to say not as hands-on for me, because I do like to have control, but it's a good twist is about letting the players take control within a limitation. So with the bodyguard twist, for example, you can pick anyone that is vulnerable to nomination, and that allows them to have some level of control. Week 2, for example, they'll have like what, 13, 12 people to pick from. You know what I mean, though. Like, they have a large pool of people to pick from, but I still have that level of control to say it has to be someone who could be nominated. You can't just go picking willy-nilly, wasting this thing on people. And there's room to barter with it. You can do what Apex are liking and doing and say, we'll just swap with each other. Or I know some people are saying, well, if this person nominates me, maybe I can give my ally safety, so I'll get myself nominated to help my ally moving forward because I don't think I'm in danger. Or what I was thinking with the twist, what I would try to do is nominate someone who will then make my ally the bodyguard, eliminate that person, and then now they've given us like a veto, because that's what I kind of keep calling it. Now they've given us a veto and we just voted them out. So it's kind of like you can use them to your advantage. I really hope someone thinks of that, because I think that's very funny. So, and I really hope that for week 2 that, like, it is 2 teams of 2, since there isn't going to be a true pre-jury turbulence week where it's like one person from each team, because I really do like that. And I keep setting it up to where it's possible for that not to happen. But at the end of the day, I think it is healthier gameplay for it to be a bottom 3 and you save 1, as opposed to 2 teams where they just go, against their partner. From my experience, it seems like the more impactful turbulence weeks are when it's a bottom 3, pick 1 to save. So at the end of the day, it's not going to be the end of the world. So yeah, I think Nicole was going to be first boot. Other predictions I had for first boot, because I kept thinking about it the past couple days. I think Triggs, I think he's a contender. I think Yeza is a contender, which is wild, because she went from Flopstar's player of the season to crashing out, which I don't know what the hell is happening. It is so baffling to see this girl's downfall in real time. But I do think Nicole is first boot. Which preseason, I might have said that. But I think preseason, before anything happened, it actually would have been Triggs. So, just throwing that out there. I think... Well, I won't even look at the server for who I think is going to get voted. It's either Apex or Lycan, or Triggs or Yeza. I think, actually, the bottom 3 is going to be Nicole, Triggs, and Yeza. Oh, and there might be a 4th. Well, it would be Aisha. Okay, so I think that's the week 2 bottom 4. I think it's Aisha and Nicole get nominated. I think Triggs and Yeza rank into the cockpit. And I think the majority of people will nominate Aisha and Nicole. Because of Nicole. I think most people want to target Nicole. And I think Aisha would just kind of be like guilty by association. But I could also see, because she is playing a decent social game, I could see someone being like, how about I nominate you? You give me or someone that we're both aligned with, you make them the week 2 bodyguard. And then Nicole is like, we'll just get rid of her, And Aisha can even tell Nicole what to do. Like, Nicole, I know you're not really social. Here's who I think you should give it to. And then it's kind of like what I envisioned, where you have the person, you have your target give someone the bodyguard that you're aligned with, and then you get rid of your target, and then you've used them for your benefit. So I kind of see that for Nicole. As to who I think is going to win, I don't know. This is more of like a strategy social game as opposed to like what it would have been with Fruit Ninja. Because if it was Fruit Ninja, Benji Sachi, period. But with this, it's very much working with others, you know, predicting how people are going to act. And I think looking at the teams, I should actually put people with their teammates while I'm yapping. Sorry, this is like the really awkward part. Oh, there she go. Looking at the teams, I think Benji and Sachi are definitely contenders. I think they're both very intelligent. How is this looking down here? Okay. I just had to look at the what is this? I don't know if y'all can see, but it's allowing me to type there. I'm ignoring that. Benji Sachi, I think, would win. Apex Lycan, I think, would not want to win because they already kind of did this bodyguard thing, and I could see them maybe not wanting to put so much heat on themselves, you know. I don't know, though, because if they give each other immunity, I could see them trying to win, because if they make each other weak 2 bodyguards... Well, no, because then they would have to pick someone else anyway. Because they wouldn't be vulnerable to nomination if they were the winning team, because you and your partner are immune for that week. Like, you can't backstab your partner. Things that make you go, like I said, it's a lot of layers to this. And, yeah. It's 12:32, so the video's not going to be as long as they usually are, needless to say. Oh my god, Vaughn. Okay, Vaughn, you're being an asshole. What the fuck? Okay, I don't like this now. Now I'm not having fun. Okay, whatever, teams are gonna be fucked up. It's 12:32, and I have to wake up at 8:45 for work. So, oh, fuck. We can move on to week 3, because why am I still here? Nicole's gone. In terms of who I think Aisha and Nicole are gonna pick, I think Aisha would pick Shane. I do. So Shane is one of the bodyguards, and Nicole, I could see Aisha trying to get her to maybe give it to like Matt or something. Would she though? I don't know. Nicole hasn't talked to many people, which is sad because I really want Nicole to succeed, but I just think she's, you know, in too many orgs right now, which is why she originally wasn't going to be here. I couldn't believe I actually convinced her. But I do appreciate it, Nicole, because I would have just had Joshi kind of fill in because he technically is a winner, but not a recent winner. So I don't really think it's like as relevant as the new winners. So I could see it being Matt or something, or Nicole can just, you know, wild card it. Give it to a girl, maybe like give it to Aisha even. They might do this. No, Aisha will probably think Nicole's going. So I think it's going to be Aisha gives it to Shane, and then Nicole gives it to Aisha. And I think the winning team, I think it's going to be Apex and Lycan. I think they're going to want to win. But will they? I don't know. But I'm just going to go with them because that kind of feels right to me. I think Lycan will take Pilot. No, I think Apex will. I think Apex will nominate Aisha Nicole. Aisha will hire Shane for security detail. Nicole will pick Aisha. And then Nicole will get eliminated. in a unanimous vote, barring any hinky votes, because I can't predict those. So week 3, we have a creative comp. I didn't work out the details yet. I just know it's going to be a creative comp. It might be an egg, because I think that would be funny. But I definitely want it to be something about, like, what you would wear to the red carpet. So regardless, I know it is going to be, like, clothing design. Now... Oh, wait! I'm so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. It's late. It was a double elimination. I just wasted everyone's time. Okay. Everything I said still stands then. In fact, now we have Triggs and Yeza, because I still think that's going to happen. I do see them being the other team in the bottom 2. I think Aisha definitely lives against Nicole. I don't see Aisha being voted out that soon. And then Triggs versus Yeza, that could go either way. Yeza is crashing out. I could see her giving up. But Triggs, I think, hasn't really, like, made those bonds because of his age. Like, I know Shane is like, how do I talk to a 14-year-old? Which, like, I wouldn't know either. I would not talk to them that much. Nothing against you, Triggs. It's just, like, it's a weird vibe, you know? It's one of those things that, like, you'll get when you're older. You know, if Trump doesn't kill us all. Also, hashtag fuck Trump. Allegedly. I think I should put that in. Allegedly. I think, though, I could see Yeza giving up. Because she has not been on her A game. I don't know what the hell happened to her. But I do foresee her not trying as hard as Triggs. And I don't think it's a unanimous vote, but I do think Triggs tries really hard to stay, and people will value that a little more. But I could also see people not wanting to work with Triggs after what happened week 1, with him not correctly submitting, because he did submit screenshots. I'll give him his kudos. But I could see, especially Aisha specifically saying to Yeza, oh my god, if I was up for elimination because of a man, I'd be pretty pissed. So I could almost see that as the most intense foreshadowing, that Aisha then gets Triggs eliminated because she goes around telling people, guys, I really don't want him as my partner. It's crazy, but I actually do think that would happen. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna make a wild prediction. I'm gonna say that's what happens, because Triggs and Yeza already have the penalty, and I do think they're gonna, you know, rank a lot lower than everyone else. Oh, but this isn't Fruit Ninja. So it could be like Maddie and Matt, for example, because Maddie's not feeling well. Or Chris Joshi. They don't give Comp Beast at all. But I think I'm going to stick with this. I think this is a pretty good indicator of where I think it's going to go. It's still predicting Triggs' first boot, which is, you know, already said I thought he might be. And then Nicole, I think, I put her above Triggs because she would be nominated, and I do it where if you rank last in the comp, I rank you lower than the person who was just there because, you know, they got nominated. Because I think you deserve a better placement, and if someone is going out of their way to put you in the line of fire. Now, if it's a bottom 3, Yeza, Triggs, Nicole, then I would do it based on vote count. But I don't see that happening, so this is what I think. Now we have the design challenge. Okay, good. How is this uneven? I don't care. So now we have the design comp. I think it's going to be a tragedy with this group of people. I don't know who the hell would win. But no, because Yeza traced during the pet comp for whatever the hell season she was on. I don't even remember. Was she even... What season was that? Oh my god, that was season 20, right? No, that was 21, because I remember Kaylin won that comp. And she had that adorable owl. Oh my god. And then we found out Yeza traced and was like, well, girl, the whole point of the challenge was to do it yourself. Okay, so maybe it's not gonna be a drawing comp. Maybe I'll have them do like an editing thing where they just like take things that they find on the internet and put them together. That could be interesting. Or it could be like the Outlaw Challenge on season 19, where one person drew the Outlaw and the other person came up with a backstory for the Outlaw. I think that could be fun. You know, I could do it where like they have to come with a really like camp outfit. Ooh, I could do it where one person draws and the other person kind of edits stuff together. That could be interesting. I would be interested to see how that goes. And then that could be not exactly like a good witch, bad witch thing where I rank them individually, but I mean, I would do that for the track records, of course, because copying, pasting things onto an egg or whatever I choose. Actually, I probably won't do that. I'll probably have it be their pit crews because that was my initial thought. I'd probably prefer, okay, I'm gonna do it like that, where one person has to draw and then the other one has to edit the stuff on. And they have to be cohesive looks. I like that idea a lot better. Because we know you bitches who can't draw will trace, which is not the point of the comp. Do y'all not have integrity? You can tell I'm just so furious. So in terms of creative comp, regardless of what it is, but specifically drawing and fashion, I do think Aisha and Yeza would actually fare pretty well. I could see Yeza taking the editing and Aisha doing the drawing. Because I think, yeah, Aisha won the egg drawing comp, the egg ball, on season 20, because she had a really good drawing. So I'm probably going to put them in first. I think Yeza would have a good eye for fashion. And I think she would also know what I'm looking for. And Aisha, actually. I think both of them would really know what I'm looking for in this comp. Chris and Joshi. Oh, Shane and Vaughn. That's gonna be... No. I don't know. I could really see Shane and Vaughn placing last. But then, like, okay. So my philosophy behind those two was like... Ooh, let me try that sentence again. My philosophy for putting the two of them together was like they were kind of like the boys, you know? Not like in a bro type of way. It's not in a bro type of way. But I don't know. They just kind of have like a vibe to them. And I don't see either of them doing super well in this, but I don't see them doing bad now that I think about it. Dayton and Anisra, though, I do see them not really like hitting the mark for this challenge. Benji, Sachi, I don't see them doing super duper well, but I don't see them doing badly because they are both like competitors who don't just like throw, you know, or not like that, but I don't see them half-assing something. Like if they're gonna throw at 100%, you know, effort, if that makes sense. Apex and Lycan, I kind of don't think they're gonna do super well. This doesn't really seem like their challenge. I think I already said Chris Joshi, I don't see doing well. Maddie Matt, I don't see Matt doing super well. I think Maddie would do okay. I think she'd do fine. So I'm gonna say Aisha and Yeza would win the creative comp. And who places last? I am gonna go with Dayton and Anisra. This just doesn't seem like a challenge either of them would be super great at, regardless of how they did on their seasons. Because, I mean, season 20, they were drawing on fucking eggs. You know, like... That's what spawned a whole fight with me, was eggs. Okay, get a grip. So I think they're going to be last. Who does Aisha put up? Because she can obviously save someone. Um, I think I am gonna allow it. No, I think I'm gonna force them to do it. I don't know. Well, no, because they're gonna know when I give them the first comp that they're the bodyguard, so they're gonna have to be on for rankings regardless. So no, I'm gonna make them use it. Aisha, obviously it wouldn't matter because she would be in charge of the nominations, so she would just pick someone she knows they're not gonna nominate. I think Yeza, or no, I'm sorry, Shane. Who would he pick if Dayton and Anisra are in the bottom two? Because Aisha... Well, I don't know, because I think Aisha wouldn't want to be the pilot this early, but I don't think Yeza would either. Like, Yeza is really playing a reserved, I'm kind of scared to do anything type of game. So I could see her not wanting to do it either. But I think Aisha, knowing she is the bodyguard, I could see her really pushing for Yeza. Because Aisha knows she's safe. And Shane will probably tell her that he's the other bodyguard. So they know, okay, one of us has to protect Apex, and then our little trio is good. And then Aisha can save one of Joshi or Matt. That's the teardrops being covered. So I kind of see Aisha setting it up that way to where she can really maximize the safety without getting blood on her hands. Because remember, the bodyguard is anonymous. So she's getting all of her allies to be safe. And it just looks like, oh, what a coinky dink. So I'm going to say Yeza is going to be our week 3 pilot. And who does she nominate? I kind of think she's going to nominate Benji. Even though it does seem like she's not actually holding a grudge against him, I do kind of see her nominating him just for the memes. And who knows, maybe Yeza will say, I want to make a big move. Benji is tough competition. She might go after Apex or Lycan because they were the week 2 winners. She might go after one of Shane or Vaughn because, oh my god, like, they were the week 1 winners, they were really trying, let me nominate them, or one of them rather. With Yeza especially this season, because at least on Flop Stars, when she was being a little monster to everyone, you kind of knew who she was going to go for. But with this Yeza that isn't super open, it's hard to tell what she's going to do. So if I had to guess, maybe Maddie. I think she might put up Maddie because Maddie hasn't been able to be social. Which, not saying this is Maddie's fault, but it's a fact. Excuse me. It's an objective fact that Maddie has not been able to be social because she's sick. It's not a dig, it's an observation. So, I could see Yeza actually making a safe play, very strategic, by the way, and nominating Maddie because, I've talked to you the least, it kind of gets the least amount of blood on my hands because you're kind of inactive. And, who knows, maybe people will save you and it doesn't matter in the end. So I definitely foresee that happening. Because, she's not going to nominate Chris. I do believe that's water under the bridge, which is fine. I didn't really have the expectation of them fighting. I was hoping. And who knows, maybe they will. People can get into fight, like people that you're friends with, you can get into fights with them because you're at odds. And at the end of the day, there's only one winner. So I'm gonna say Maddie gets nominated against Dayton and Anisra. So Maddie will pick the next bodyguard, and one of Maddie, Dayton, and Anisra goes home. This is tricky because Maddie is up against 2 winners. So naturally, you would think, okay, well, one of the winners is going to go home. They're more of a threat. But with Maddie, because she's been least social, people might see her as less of a valuable ally. And in my timeline, she's 0 for 3 on challenge wins. So they may say, Dayton and Isra, they're at least winners. I might be able to count on them to win something. Maddie, I don't know. Once again, not an insult to Maddie at all, but I have to go off of what I've seen so far, which, once again, had I actually done this before the season started, Maddie would not be here in my prediction. Like, she wouldn't be in the bottom 3 week 3. I think she would be safe moving forward. So I kind of have to go with the obvious. I'm going to say Maddie is going to go out third again. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I don't like this, especially because I think it was All-Stars 4. Or no, it was Superstars 2, I think, where I was doing my predictions. It was like all the girls I was eliminating. Because, we're already down 2 girls. There was only 5 to begin with. Which, that's so sad. Like, if y'all know any girls that like to play orgs, please send them here. As long as they have a pulse and they don't seem like they're idiots, I will happily cast them. I would love to have more women. My goal is to have a season where it's all women. I think that'd be so fun. Really, show, women in the org community. And, I'm willing to make an All-Stars just for that. Only female players. And let's go from there. I mean, I've tried to do that with Blood vs. Water, but, there are male alumni that I want to see back. Like Easton, for example. I really wanted to see him back. So, it just depends. One day it'll happen. One day I will have my all-female season. Maybe the next World Circuit, or War of the Worlds, which is Season 20, if you don't remember. So now we are at Fruit Ninja for real. App Comp, Benji Sachi, probably gonna win, but I don't know. Vaughn might give them a run for their money. Apex and Lycan might give them a run for their money. Point is, a man is gonna win. That's my takeaway for the season. A man's gonna win. I think we all have to resign ourselves to the fact that there's no women's alliance strong enough to overcome, in what's in front of me, a 3-10 deficit. I don't even think there's non-binary people in this season. I think it's girl and boy. We're fucked. Now, granted, most of the boys are little gay bows, but still, I want women. That'd be fun. All winter season, and it's the women who have won this org. That would be fun. That would be very fun. So, App Comp, who is gonna lose? Aisha Yeza does not seem like their type of thing. Matt can hold his own, I'm sure. Chris and Joshi kind of stand out, but then Joshi fucking killed the first comp, so I don't know. You just never know what game someone is gonna screw up. Dayton and Anisra are kind of speaking to me again, but also neither of them are really bad at comps. They're more so usually in the middle from their seasons, so I don't know if it would be one of them. I kind of want to go Chris and Joshi, though. I think Chris would kind of fuck up their average. And then I'm just going to lock in with that, because if I sit here and try to predict everyone's exact score, I'm never going to go to bed. Benji Sachi, who takes the pilot, that actually seems like it would be more of an ordeal for them, trying to be no, you can take it. No, you can take it. No, you can take it. Because they both don't want to take it. I think it would go down to Benji, though. I think he would feel more secure, given that all of his Season 21 people are there. Whereas Sachi, I think he's not dumb. he can recognize I'm the only season 18 person here. If I nominate someone and that person doesn't go home, it's not going to be good for me. I don't have the connections that other people have, which is so unfortunate. I'm so sorry that you're the only season 18 person here. I tried. That season truly is cursed, and you were the only person who made it out unscathed. Everyone else did something. Either they flopped on that season, or they didn't come back for this one. Thank God Sachi won. Can we just be so grateful that he is the representation for season 18? God, did I luck out casting him. I will always be. This season, let me just tangent real quick. I've forgotten how many of you I loved watching play. Like Apex and Benji, they're like the two who I'm like, it's such a breath of fresh air having a cast of people who want to be here. Which, you know, that shouldn't be abnormal, but you know how org people are. They sign up and then they don't want to do anything. It's like Aisha said earlier today, why are you going to sign up for something and then not commit to it? Like, why did you sign up? You chose to sign up, or even accepted an invite to the season, and then you didn't give it your all. Like, you could have just said no. I don't know. And before anyone thinks less of me, this does not include when a real life emergency or something happens. Not what we're talking about. So who do I think is going to get nominated by Benji? I don't think it would be Yeza. I am going to go with the narrative that's water under the bridge. Maddie, I think, would give the bodyguard to maybe Dayton. I could see her pushing for Anisra to go so that her and Dayton could stay together because they were such a tight duo. So I think he would... I think I might have actually given Apex wrong information. Oh no, because I said you can use it on anyone who's vulnerable to nomination. I actually do think I have to go back and check what I said to him, because I might have misspoke. Because I think I told him he can't use it on himself, but when I wrote the twist, I did envision that you could. Yeah. I'm gonna have to revisit that, because that was my intention. Now, I might change my mind on that, because... you know, what's the point if you can just give it to yourself? Like, why make it anonymous if you can just give it to yourself? So, I don't know. But I think Dayton would give it... I don't think he would give it to Joshi. I could maybe see him giving it to Vaughn. I could see him maybe being like, oh god, like, he might target Vaughn because, you know, Vaughn did really good in that first comp. I mean, that's what I would do. So I think I'm just gonna go with that. I haven't seen Dayton make any like really strong connections, and now in this timeline Maddie's gone, so I do think he would just go for Vaughn, because that's someone from his season that he was close with, and it's someone who's good at the comps, and he, you know, he doesn't know Josh got the Inferno pass. I think everyone thinks Vaughn has it, which I could see that getting Vaughn targeted. So yeah, I would think he gives it to Vaughn. Which actually, I was just thinking about it. I actually do think if Benji nominates Vaughn here, and Vaughn's not immune, I think Vaughn would go home. I think people would think he, you know, they already think he has the Inferno Pass, which he could go home earlier. They could boot his ass week 2, because they think he has the Inferno Pass, which I don't think is going to happen. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen week 3. But, you know, in my scenario, I could see Aisha kind of wanting Vaughn safe because she's aligned with Shane. So I could see her maybe kind of steering Yeza away from Shane and Vaughn. So I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be week 3 or 4. And I think Dayton would, you know, hopefully save Vaughn here, because I really want Vaughn to make merge. And I think... I'm not gonna lie. I think if I'm right about everything I said, this could be the moment where Benji nominates Vaughn, but Dayton has secretly saved Vaughn, and then Benji has to renominate, and then he looks like a chump, which would be so funny. I mean, who even would get the renomination? Because that's such a, I've never, it's never happened before in this org. So I don't know how people would react. Maybe he goes for Shane? Because you gotta remember, he gets to renominate after seeing that his nomination got blocked, plus their reasoning. So he might say, okay, well, I can't take Vaughn, I guess I'll put Shane's ass up. I don't know, because it depends on like what Benji is thinking, because I don't think any of this group, maybe in Isra, maybe she's kind of the easy nomination, maybe it's Dayton. I don't know. Would Benji even want to target one of the winners? Or would he want to be like, kind of unspoken, winners keep each other safe kind of deal? I don't know. This is a hard one, because I think he would probably nominate Joshi, but based on what I said, I'm thinking Joshi and Chris are going to get last place, and he can't nominate Joshi. And now I've said that Vaughn has been granted immunity. So he wouldn't go for Matt. I don't think he goes for Aisha. I don't think he goes for Yeza. Maybe Apex or Lycan. It kind of depends on how the next few votes shake out as to whether or not he targets them, because I think he knows, or should know, that they were both comp beasts, and if he starts a war with them, it's not going to go well. If he puts one of them up and that person stays, it's going to be hell on earth. So maybe he goes for one of Dayton or Isra. Maybe he goes for Dayton. I don't know, though, because I just said I don't think he'd go for Aisha because of a winner's pact. And this is where it gets hard. I think I'm going to say he puts up Shane. Because he's not going to put up... I don't think he'd put up someone from his season. I don't think he'd go after someone who he deems as, like, threatening. Even though Shane won the first challenge, everyone, like, they know, but obviously they don't have the proof, but, the word is around that it's because of Vaughn. Vaughn got a crazy good score. They all think he's got the Inferno Pass. Maybe he tries to nominate Vaughn to flush out the power. He's like, well, shit, I can't get to Vaughn, so let me put up Shane to see if he'll use his power on Shane. Like, let's see if I can flush it out a different way. So I'm going to say it's going to be Chris, Joshi, and Vaughn. Or excuse me, Chris, Joshi, Shane. I do actually think the Inferno Pass gets used here. I think it would be a very close vote, because all three of these people are socially connected with the group. But I don't know, because would Joshi need it? I don't think he would, but I could see him panicking and using it, because you got Matt and Aisha who would both run to his defense. But then you have Dayton and Vaughn, who I actually think might be trying to get him out, because they, I think, are wary of him from season 19, which I don't know what the hell happened. I don't remember, to be honest with y'all. I should have studied. So it could be one of those things where Chris kind of gets by just because everyone forgets he's there. Like, they're focused on Shane versus Joshi, that no one is even talking about Chris. But I could also see the reverse happening, where everyone is so intent on, like, Shane versus Joshi that everyone goes, you know what? Let's all meet in the middle and just vote out Chris. Like, none of us really care, just vote him out, and then neither of our two little factions that are forming are going to be too pressed about it, because, Team Shane, even though I think there's, Aisha would, I think Chris is going to go. And by the way, I'm sure you're thinking, wow, you're giving Aisha a lot of credit. Yes, but that's only because I don't have as many connections to go off of, and Aisha is one of the more well-connected people here. But also, I would say that about Matt. I think Matt actually, I said this preseason, but I don't think I said it in first class. I think Matt is the most connected person here because he has the season 21 people. He's watched most of the season, so people might recognize him from first class. And he's got the other, alumni. And by alumni, I refer to people who played before season 17. So Maddie, Aisha, and Joshi. He's got connections right there to every season. No, he doesn't have season 17. But Matt is Matt, and he's an angel, so he can make those connections. So I do kind of see a world where Chris goes home because he's not anyone's like top pick to save, so he's like the safe vote. I don't want to start a war between two sides of the house, so let's just vote out the person that no one's really picking a side for. Which is sad, because I love Chris. I love everyone on this cast. I think it's a very nice cast. So this would then leave Joshi and Matt as a team. Didn't plan that. That would be fun. I am still recording, thank God. Oh God. And now we immediately go into Flappy Bird. Now we go into our parallel distortion double elimination, which is crazy because it feels like I just started this video, but that's what happens when you have two double eliminations within 5 weeks of gameplay, which I love it because this first double elimination, you're probably wondering, why would you do 3? 2 people would have been gone by week 2 regardless. So by doing a week 1 non-elimination, I got 3 turbulence weeks for the price of 2. My mom taught me a lot about discounts growing up. So also, I hate this. 2 black people and 2 women. This is why my winner circle is the way it is. I can never have things. Y'all know what I wouldn't give to be able to be like Big Brother, where I have an equal gender balance and I don't want to say equal racial makeup because 8 white people and 8 everyone else I do not believe is equal. I think it should be ratioed more. But I would love to have a representative racial makeup and gender Jesus Christ, gender identity of the cast. That would be so fun for me. I would really like that, but it's never gonna happen unless I make it happen with an All-Stars. It's like the all-women season. It's like one day I'll get it, So now we have the distortion. How am I gonna break this up? I think what I could do is maybe have them do a confessional. Okay, I've got it. This can be the week where I start to lock the votes behind the confessional. Like how I said, eventually your vote is going to have to come with a confessional to force you to talk through your game. I think this is when I do the confessional. And I say, surprise, it was actually trust rankings. And I could do power rankings, but that might be a little too obvious actually, because Final 12, they would be expecting it. So I should do it the week before then. I should do it the week that Maddie goes home, so that it's not like as obvious when I start doing it. I could have it be trust rankings this week as well. So that way when they see it for week 4, they're like, oh, okay, so it's just the same thing as last week. Cool. Yeah, because it's like, I don't want to show all my cards. I still want them to be guessing so that there's an air of deniability, because it's almost like it's so obvious that it comes back around to maybe it's not so obvious. Maybe I am subverting expectations, which, I mean, I'm not. I'm not saying I'm that clever. even though originally I was gonna subvert expectations. So yeah, now I have to think who would be... Oh god, this is so fucking hard. Who do I think would be the most and least trusted? I could see Yeza kind of being near the bottom. I can't move her, can I? That sucks. Let's see if I can do it like this. Yeza, maybe Sachi, only because of the black box. Like, maybe he continues to get framed. I don't know. Benji, I think. Maybe Vaughn. Oh, actually, yeah, Benji. Based on the narrative I've created, yeah, Benji for sure. Vaughn, I think people are going to be like, we think you have the Inferno Pass. We think you're shady for that. Who do I think is going to be lower on the trust rankings? Maybe Joshi. He's a bit of a shit starter. I think Aisha would be in the top 6. I'm going to go with Nizra for that group, the least trusted group. Like, and she would be more like a... I don't know her, so here she goes into the bottom. And maybe Shane. Maybe they all think he did block Vaughn for being nominated. Maybe they think that's shitty boots of him. Apex, maybe he gets found out for doing the black boxes. I think someone actually clocked him. I think Yeza. Because she was like, how does he know I'm not the one that wrote it? Unless he wrote it. Which, that's not good logic. Because, I mean, he saw how you wrote. But maybe she starts spreading the word that it's him. I'm going to go off of that so I can go to bed. So now we have Flappy Bird. Who's going to win in each group? I do unironically think it would be Benji and Apex. I do think it would be them. But I could see... Oh, did I say Apex? I'm sorry, I meant Sachi. I think it could be them. Could easily be Matt, actually. I could see him. Lycan, I think he could win for his group. Joshi could win for his group. Vaughn could win for his group. But let's go with the other stuff. I just realized Chris going here is a little awkward, because then he only gets to save one person. But then you could argue it's a little bit more intense because, oh god, the one group there is no immunity, whereas the other group there is immunity, so it's even more valuable. It's a little unbalanced in the sense that, yeah, I mean, it's a little wonky. Because at the end of the day, one group is completely open, whereas the other group is not open at all. Or... I think I'm just going to go with it. I think I'm just going to have the one group is just going to have no one be immune, and the other group is going to have the one person be immune. I can't really do anything about that. Unless I say that Chris doesn't get to make anyone the bodyguard, in which case it becomes extraordinarily obvious that something is up next week, and because it's Final 12, they're already going to be thinking it's a Turbulence week. So I think I'm just gonna have to let bygones be bygones. I mean, both people who get nominated this week will get to give out a bodyguard, so it doesn't matter. Sir, I think Nizra's gonna lose her group's Flappy Bird, and I think Aisha's gonna lose her groups. This doesn't seem like her comp. Group A... I don't know, I could see Benji going for it. I mean, he said he's gonna play kind of like reckless, YOLO, I'm just here to have fun. I could see him really going for it. Especially, because in my timeline, he got blocked in getting out Vaughn, so the two of them would be going for each other. Okay, I'm comfortable with that narrative. I think it's gonna be Benji versus Vaughn. And I think Joshy would maybe pop. No, I think Joshy would keep the Inferno Pass. It just hit me, the Inferno Pass would be really broken. Because Joshy, he would just cancel out all of the votes. Maybe I shouldn't do a split house. I'm just looking. I mean, I could have it that Pilot Comp... Oh no, because that... Pilot Comp 4 is supposed to be the Jury Turbulence. I don't know, I'm just kind of looking at it, and I feel like the Inferno Pass would be busted if there was a split house. I think I'm actually gonna cut the split house idea. Because the Inferno Pass will probably be kept to this point in the game. Had it been like Chris or Triggs or Yeza that got it, I do think it would have been used. But I think Joshy would keep it as long as he could. And I think it would be way too overpowered. Plus, I don't think it works with a bodyguard twist. So I'm just going to completely cut that. Not cutting the footage though. This video will not be edited. Thank you. So now we're back to teams. This is train wreck of a video, excuse me. Flappy Bird and teams. What team is gonna lose? I could see Benji Sachi winning, or Shane Vaughn, or Apex Lycan. They are kind of like my challenge beasts that I'm looking at right now. And Joshy and Matt are on the team. I don't see them finding success. No, I do not. Aisha and... who the hell is her partner by now? Like, I have fucked these teams up so much. Yeza, okay. I'm gonna put them as one of the bottom two teams. And the other team could be Joshy Matt. I could see that. Oh no, it's only one team in the bottom. I'm not used to the bodyguard twist. I apologize. So Aisha and Yeza are going to be the bottom team, and I think this would be where Yeza goes. I think Aisha is so well connected, and her head's more in the game. She has more people who would be, fighting for her. Whereas Yeza, I don't think has those connections. So yeah, I don't see that for her. Now the winning team, this is a major, turning point in the game. Because if Benji or Vaughn win, they nominate the other, guaranteed. And if Apex or Lycan win, then... I mean, shit, they... yeah, they just nominate who the hell ever. I don't even think they would get involved in that drama. But it does seem more like Benji and Sachi's thing than I think it does Shane. So I'm going to knock that team out. And I think once again, he would nominate a team. So he would nominate Shane and Vaughn. And I did say Shane gets nominated, so who does he give it to? Funny enough... Well, no, because if Shane gets to give it to someone, and after the rankings, he might give it to himself and throw Vaughn under the bus and say, Vaughn, I already know he's going to put you up, so I'm going to save myself, and that way only you get put up. And then it's a bottom three. And then this actually, it wouldn't affect my decision. I'm going to put Vaughn here. Because let's say that that's what happens. It's a bottom three, Vaughn, Yeza, Aisha. I could see a world where Aisha gets taken out only because Vaughn is a shield. But I don't see that being our timeline. Like, I don't think that would happen. I think he would get taken out because Aisha is so well connected with the group. Which, once again, I'm not saying Aisha is like some mastermind pulling the strings, but she's social. You know, that gets you somewhere. So, sadly, I do think this would be the second Turbulence Week victims. So, who do I think? In this instance, only Vaughn gets nominated. So only Vaughn would be giving out a bodyguard. I kind of think he would give it to Dayton. You know, in my timeline, Dayton gave him a guard. So I think he would then give it back to Dayton to use as he pleases. Which, once again, I have to make sure I remember to tell Apex, you can use this on yourself. And if Apex and Lycan already gave it to each other, I'm just going to say, hey, look, I'm just going to let you guys know, if you want to change your mind, you can. Because I was incorrect in the information I gave you, that, I did intend for you to be able to give this to yourself. Which is my fault. Like, it's not their fault at all. Now, if I did say you could give it to yourself, okay, that's on them. But, it's a big, complicated twist, and I don't expect all of you to be perfect at it, as long as you don't expect me to have everything nailed down. Which is, I think it's a pretty reasonable thing to expect. Obviously, as a host, I do hold myself to a standard. But, I don't know, it's 126, I'm fucking rambling. So now we have a social comp. Your standard social comp that I do. Nothing special. It could be any one of these people. I think Dayton is safe. Maybe he just saves himself. I don't know, because this is usually where an early game comp threat gets taken out. And that could be where Benji goes home. Because he's been a threat. In my timeline, I think he's got 2 challenge wins. He's clearly, been at the forefront of drama. I don't think it would be Sachi. I think Sachi would be quiet. And Benji, I think, is kind of like the obvious threat. So I think I'm just going to put Benji here because it's 1:27 in the morning. I would like to go to bed. And that's all I got. I only have so much functioning brain power. I think Benji would get nominated. I don't think he would go via the challenge. So he would get to give out the block or the bodyguard. And I could see him picking Sachi. Or I could see him picking Matt. I'm gonna say he picks Matt. So, our next challenge is Night Fever. You can all thank, I want to say it's Shane. I think he was the one who kept saying he wanted this to be on the season. And when I was thinking of comps, I was like, you know what? I haven't done that one in a while. Like, let me do that. That's fun. So, it would matter who the pilot is. Damn it. I could see Aisha winning that comp, the social comp. I could see Matt winning. I could see Shane winning. Definitely could see that. Let me just... I do want to predict those, though. I do want to predict the pilots. Because if Matt wins, Benji isn't going to go home. I'm actually going to take this back. Congratulations, Benji. I think Matt is going to win this comp. And he wouldn't put up Benji. Would Matt even go for a big threat? Because I think Anisra would lose this comp. Which, by the way, this is no shade to Anisra. because I am saying she's gonna like flop a bunch of the comps. I just think for social comp, I think people wouldn't prioritize her, and she would just kind of be near the bottom by default. So I'm gonna put her near the bottom, and I could see Matt putting up an Apex maybe. Maybe Matt goes for a big, but I don't know. Matt isn't that kind of person to make a big move so early in the game. Like, we're not even at jury, and Matt doesn't seem like someone who would make a big move. I don't think Matt would put up an ally to like get them to give him the bodyguard. I mean, this is where it gets hard, because if it's like Aisha, I don't think she put a Benji either, now that I think about it. Unless like he really, she sours on him. I'm gonna say that this cockpit for the social one, I think Anizra is gonna be last. And maybe like Lycan goes up. Maybe he's not a challenge threat in this timeline, but he could prove himself to be good in the challenges. And maybe they don't clock Apex. Maybe they do. I'm gonna... my gut is telling me Lycan, but I could see Apex maybe getting clocked by now. I think we're gonna say Lycan is gonna go home. He hasn't been, from what I've seen, I don't think he's been as social as I thought he was going to be. So maybe this continues the Season 17 curse that began on Flop Stars, and Season 17 is the first to lose all of its members again. Because Anizra might... It's tricky. Because Anizra, like, isn't doing bad or anything. But I am already starting to see her in this timeline being kind of a goat, so... I don't know, it could be Apex, though, who goes home. Because maybe he gets called out for being a little snake. But, like, Joshi, if Matt doesn't win, he might get called out. Or maybe Benji goes up instead. That's very possible. It's just... Matt, like I said, is the most well-connected person, so I could see him getting big points from everyone, or the majority of people. And who would Matt go for? I think Matt would go for like a semi-threat, but not a huge threat, who might stay if people use him as a shield, which is why I kind of picked Lycan, who's like a threat, but not the most imminent threat that people are going to hate him for nominating that person. And I think they would probably get rid of that person just because it's about to be jury, and you kind of want to take out who you think is going to be a comp threat. But see, now that I've said that out loud, it could be Benji or Sachi. Probably Sachi, actually. Because maybe he puts up Sachi because they've won a couple comps and it's not Benji. And then he says, look, like, I gotta take you out. We're about to be the merge. You're a comp threat. And since Vaughn isn't here, because Vaughn will probably actually be who I would put in that scenario, Matt's not gonna put up Joshi, he's not gonna put up Benji, could put up Apex. You know what, I'm gonna go against my gut, I'm gonna put Apex here instead. So now we have Night Fever, Social Comp. This is something that Innisra could win. I think Shane, Dayton could win, Matt can't play. Anyone could win this, really. But who do I think is going to make like the best moves? I could see Shane winning it. That seems reasonable. But like, any of them could win. It's a total fucking toss-up when you think about it. Who would throw? Maybe Benji, if he is like, oh crap, like I just barely got through his skin of my teeth. Maybe let me lay back a little bit. Depends on how much he wants to win too. I think in terms of getting last, I could see... maybe Joshi, actually. I'm gonna go Joshi. I don't know why. And then for the winner, I think I'm gonna go Shane. I think he keeps wanting this comp because he thinks he can win it, and I could see it, sure. So who does Shane put up? I think he puts up Benji. I think, based on the narrative I've created, it's a Benji versus Shane war. Or maybe if Inizra or whoever is the GOAT, maybe he puts them up against Joshi to knock Joshi out. But I could see him putting up Benji. It's kind of like a revenge thing, and I'm going to have Benji be the first juror. I think he would be one of those things where it's like, well, he's a massive threat, why wouldn't we take him out? And I don't think Joshi would use the Inferno Pass. But even if he did, it wouldn't matter. Now we have touchy subjects. Shane cannot play. We're at the final 8. This is another one where anyone could win. I could see Aisha winning. Lycan, I think he could win. And Nizra, I think she could win this. Pretty much anyone here, actually. All of these people, I think, could win. I think Dayton is gonna lose. Gut feeling, couldn't tell you why. And Aisha could win this because she does have a good social game, like she may know how people are thinking. It depends, because a lot of this is predicated on, does this person want to win? I think like if Benji went home, maybe Matt, was really gung-ho, like, oh my god, I gotta win. I gotta avenge my fallen soldier. So maybe Matt tries really hard and wins. Maybe Aisha wins and is like, oh, but that would cause a fracture because Aisha probably wouldn't want to win. So I think she's out of the running. Shane can't win. Dayton, I said, is gonna lose. Joshi might try really hard, but I don't think he would win. Lycan, I mean, he's good at a lot of things. Sachi is like the wild card here because he played against such a horrible cast that he could be terrible at challenges, and we would never know. So I think Matt could win this, which would be another challenge win already. That'd be for him back-to-back pilots, which is kind of unreasonable. Not because like, oh, it's Matt, how could he win this? But it's like, that doesn't really happen too often. But I could see Matt, really putting the thinking cap on. So I think I'm probably going to say Matt just like does a revenge nomination to Shane. Oh my god, I've been forgetting to do the thing. Apex would probably give it to Lycan, who protects himself, because Lycan's not stupid. And then Benji probably gives it to Sachi, who wouldn't need it. And Sachi would probably protect... I don't think he'd protect Shane. I think he'd probably protect, like Aisha or something. I don't know. I don't think Sachi would get involved. And I think Shane versus Dayton. Before, I wasn't really going off of like, oh, keep the shields in. But this could be a moment where they keep a shield in. Because like, on one hand, you have... Aisha is aligned with Matt and Shane. And Apex is gone in this scenario. So it's just her and Shane. Maybe they pull in Inizra. Which is... It's so funny. They made a Season 20 alliance without her. That killed me. So I could see a world where maybe they pick up Inizra. So now Aisha's got the trio with them, but she also has the teardrops with Joshi and Matt. So now she has to pick. And I could see a world where she tries to steer the votes onto Dayton. Kind of like before when it was Joshy versus Shane. I said maybe Aisha would just go for Chris. I could almost see her doing that again. And once again, I know I'm putting a lot on Aisha, but like what other storylines do I really know of right now? I think the thing is, because I've seen parts of the game happen, I can only go off of the parts of the game I've seen happen. And I do think the teardrops, Aisha, Joshy, Matt, and the season 20 trio, I think those are going to be the big players moving forward. So, but also like, I am like exhausted right now, so I might just be defaulting to what I know, and that is my alumni. Because like Lycan was a challenge beast on season 17. I don't think I've given him a challenge win during this prediction video. So, you know, what the fuck do I know? At the end of the day, we're just here to hear me ramble. So yeah, maybe Dayton goes, maybe Aisha really plays strategically. And I can already hear her go, Krim, you're giving me a lot of credit. Well, would you rather me insult you? Like, I'm actually being nice. But I could see in Isra maybe wanting to keep Dayton. Maybe she would like, oh no. Maybe she'd want to keep Shane. And Isra would be in a tough position too, because that's her original teammate versus a season 20 person. So maybe Aisha rats out the season 20 thing. You know, maybe she cuts Shane loose and says in Isra, you know, girl, they made an alliance without you. That's something I could see her doing too. Lycan, Sat, and Sachi, who would they pick? I think they would be the swing votes. I could see them maybe voting out Shane, because he, in my world, took out Benji, so he's the bigger threat. And I think no matter what, I could see Aisha kind of cutting ties with him. So I'm gonna say Shane's gonna go at night, or no, not Night Fever, Touchy Subjects. I'm not gonna predict the Touchy Subjects, by the way. So now we have Cursed Bodies, the double elimination at Final 7. Also, that's 4 winners in the top 7. 5 if you count Joshy. Crazy work. So, Cursed Bodies. We have one person in via the challenge. Well, who's not playing? Who did I just say was the pilot? Matt. So, Matt is getting nominated. Because I don't think Joshy... Well, no, Joshy could win. Damn. I think by now they would have to realize that Joshy and Matt are at least a duo. Maybe they won't clock Aisha, but they would have to clock Joshy and Matt. I think this is where I'm going to give Lycan a challenge win. I think this is where I'll say he wins. I think the challenge... Is it a slide or a jigsaw? Because I do have to decide that, because I do like to switch it up sometimes. I think I'm just going to make it a jigsaw, not going to make my life harder. So, jigsaw, who's going to win? I think Aisha will lose that comp. Even though she is an Instagram OG, and that was like the thing you had to do, it just doesn't really seem like her comp, given who she's against. Even though I think Dayton could lose as well, I'm going to put Aisha last. Most votes, that could be Joshy. Could be Sachi too. Even though I think Joshy could win, I think it's going to be Joshy or Lycan. But I think Joshy, regardless, would get the most votes. And this is so funny. Maybe Lycan nominates Matt and we have a teardrops bottom 3 and then one of them goes home. Let's make this messy. Let's say that's what the bottom 3 would look like. And it would be luck too. Like, I'm not even saying someone would have set this up. I think it would be just a bad week for the three of them. Yeah, who would go home? Who would be kept? I think Matt is like dead on arrival. And Aisha versus Joshi. This is a tricky one because it depends on who they think is a bigger threat. You know, Aisha, they could say, well, she's a winner. But Sachi and Isra Dayton could say, well, she's a winner. We want to take her to the final five. And then it's a bunch of winners in the final five, which is so unrealistic. This is not how I actually think like top six is going to look, for God's sakes. But just looking at this group of people, but especially Aisha versus Joshi, let's look at the votes. We have Anisra, Sachi, and Dayton. Anisra, I think, keeps Aisha. Sachi, I could actually maybe see keeping Joshi. That kind of makes sense to me. And then Dayton, who would he keep? I think maybe he goes with Anisra. You know, last round I did say maybe Aisha throws Shane under the bus. So Anisra really just decides, okay, I'm definitely going to stick with Dayton, you know, my day one. Maybe then she once again convinces him, hey, how about we keep Aisha in? She's a winner with us, and I'm cool with her. She would be cool with us. So I think I'm going to say the OG teardrops will get taken out together. And we have a final four of 4 winners and a POTS. I think we all know this isn't going to be the final 5, but this is what I've come to. Final 5 comp is going to be kind of like the paparazzi, you know, find me in a crowd. Lycan cannot play. Sachi, I think this is going to be his big challenge win moment. Who's going to lose? I could see Aisha losing again. Honest to God. Or in Isra. I'm gonna say in Isra, but I think it's gonna be close between her and Aisha. And I think Lycan gets nominated because he just took out Joshi Matt. And I'm gonna say Lycan goes home. And now we have a super realistic top 4 of winners. This is, I think, the most cracked predictions video I've done. Because like I've had some crazy ones. I don't think I've ever had a top 4 of winners on an All-Stars. Oh my god. What am I doing here, people? I think regardless, I think Sachi would just like wipe all 3 of them in the comps. Just based on what we know about him. I think he would wipe them. And I think he would take out... Maybe he would take out Aisha? Because none of these 3, I don't think I've given any of them a pilot. Sachi, I think, with my, you know, fucked up storyline, he's the only one with a challenge win. Or a pilot, at least. I think Aisha had one. Yeah, Aisha had one, but I said she would probably give it to Yeza. Maybe... So I said Nisra would lose. Maybe the smartest thing for him to do is put up Dayton. Because he would maybe want to sever that relationship that they have as being team members going in the final 3. Sachi has a better chance at being picked to go through and not having to do the qualifier. So I think he would probably put up Dayton next to an Isra, who I said would lose. And Aisha is the sole vote. I think Aisha would look out for the girls, and I'm going to say Dayton is going to go home here. And now, I think once again the girls are going to pick each other, and Sachi would pick which one of them to push through to the finale. I have kind of set in Isra is being a GOAT in my scenario, but I don't know. I mean, I think maybe he's fostered a better relationship with Aisha, so maybe he would put her through. But, I don't know. I guess also they have to. Oh, you know what? Okay. I think Sachi would think about who's a jury threat. And when I'm looking at this jury right now, does anyone else see two people who'd be guaranteed Aisha votes? Because who would be the guaranteed Inizra votes? Maybe, like Dayton, I think he would be a guaranteed Inizra vote. And Shane. But Shane would also be an Aisha vote, because they're both from season 20. That could be an argument for him nominating Aisha, actually. Maybe he nominates her to try and break up that season 20 duo. But I think also, I think Dayton and Nisra would be more of an obvious connection to go for. So I'm going to keep what I said, but now we have three people who would be Team Aisha. Dayton and Benji, they're probably cool with her, so I think Sachi puts an Isra through, and I think he beats Aisha. So I'm gonna have Aisha third, and I mean, I do think Sachi, Jesus God, I think Sachi, this is so sensitive. This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Sachi is gonna be the next double winner. This is not what's gonna happen at all. If you stuck through this, thank you very much. And thank you to everyone for playing this season. Obviously I had to get some replacements in there, but I do think this is a fun cast. I'm excited to see how the season goes out. I kind of don't want it to go like this, though. I really want to see Vaughn and Apex go far. Now, if you had to ask me who I want to win of this group, like if I could just choose someone to win, I think Matt would be an amazing winner. Playing on his third, technically fourth All-Stars would be such a fun storyline. That would be best storyline, hands down. Shane, I'd like to see him win. Vaughn, I would like. Apex. Um, I would love for Maddie to win, but I don't think it's in the cards. I don't know. There's a lot of people I would want to see win, so that's my story. I might do merge prediction video, but like I barely got this shit done, so I don't know. I don't know. If this is the end of the video, thank you for playing on All Stars, and I will see y'all next time. Bye bye.